Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're taking a trip back in time to one of the most iconic, revolutionary, and beautiful World Cups ever played, Mexico 1970. This tournament wasn't just a series of football matches. It was a global spectacle broadcast in vibrant color for the first time, forever changing how we experience the beautiful game. So, grab your popcorn, and let's dive into the magic of 1970. The 9th edition of the FIFA World Cup was held in Mexico, marking the first time the tournament was staged outside of Europe or South America. The choice was significant. The high altitude and blistering midday heat of Mexican cities like Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Puebla would pose a serious challenge to the participating teams, especially the Europeans. Speaking of teams, let's talk about the qualifiers. 75 nations entered the qualification rounds, all vying for just 14 spots. Mexico, as the host, and England, as the defending champions, qualified automatically. The qualification process had its share of drama. One of the most famous stories was the so-called football war between El Salvador and Honduras, where tensions from qualifying matches sadly escalated pre-existing political conflicts between the two nations. In the end, El Salvador secured their first ever World Cup appearance. Other debutants included Israel and Morocco, marking a growing global presence in the tournament. Now, let's set the stage. The 16 qualified teams were divided into 4 groups. Group 1 featured the hosts, Mexico, alongside the formidable Soviet Union, Belgium, and debutantes El Salvador. Group 2 was dubbed the Group of Death for good reason, with football giants Italy, Uruguay, Sweden, and Israel battling it out. Group 3 was perhaps the most anticipated, featuring the reigning champions, England, led by Bobby Charlton, and the tournament favorites, Brazil, with Pelé back for one last hurrah. They were joined by Romania and Czechoslovakia. Group 4 saw a powerful West German side, led by the legendary Gerd Müller, competing against Peru, Bulgaria, and Morocco. The group stage kicked off on May 31st, and right away the tournament delivered excitement. One of the most significant changes introduced in Mexico 70 was the use of substitutes for reasons other than injury and the implementation of yellow and red cards. Although, fun fact, no player was actually sent off with a red card during the entire tournament. In Group 1, Mexico and the Soviet Union were evenly matched, even playing out a 0-0 draw against each other. They both finished with identical points and goal difference, so their progression to the quarterfinals was decided by the drawing of lots, a nerve-wracking moment for both nations. The Soviet Union won the draw, topping the group, with Mexico advancing as runners-up. Group 2 was a tight defensive affair. Italy, with their famous Catenaccio tactical system, didn't concede a single goal in the group stage. They topped the group by scoring just 1 goal in 3 matches, a 1-0 win against Sweden. Uruguay secured the second spot to advance. Group 3 gave us one of the most legendary matches in World Cup history, Brazil versus England in Guadalajara. It was a clash of titans. This game is famous for 2 iconic moments: Gordon Banks' one save of the century, against a powerful header from Pelé, and a brilliant display of sportsmanship and respect captured in the famous photograph of Pelé and Bobby Moore swapping shirts after the match. Brazil eventually won 1-0, thanks to a goal from Jairzinho, and went on to top the group with a perfect record. England finished second. In Group 4, West Germany showcased their incredible attacking power. Gerd Müller was on fire, scoring a hat-trick against Bulgaria and another against Peru. They comfortably won the group, with Peru boasting the brilliant Teófilo Cubillas, impressing everyone and advancing as the runners-up. With the group stage complete, the tournament moved into the knockout rounds, and the intensity went up another notch. The quarterfinals delivered some unforgettable drama. West Germany faced their old rivals, England, in a rematch of the 1966 final. England took a 2-0 lead and looked comfortable. But the Germans mounted an incredible comeback. Franz Beckenbauer scored a brilliant goal to start the revival, and Uwe Seeler equalized with a bizarre backward header, forcing the match into extra time. It was there that Gerd Müller, the ultimate poacher, scored the winner, sealing a 3-2 victory and sweet revenge for West Germany. Meanwhile, Brazil faced a vibrant Peru team. The match was a festival of attacking football, with Brazil ultimately triumphing 4-2. Italy comfortably defeated the host nation Mexico 4-1, and Uruguay squeezed past the Soviet Union with a goal in the final minute of extra time. This set up two mouth-watering semifinals. In Guadalajara, Brazil met Uruguay in a match heavy with history, evoking the ghost of the 1950 World Cup final, the Maracanazo, where Uruguay famously upset Brazil. Uruguay took an early lead, but this Brazilian team was different. They were confident, skillful, and determined to rewrite history. Clodoaldo, Jairzinho, and Rivellino all scored to secure a 3-1 win, sending Brazil to the final. The other semifinal, played in the Azteca Stadium between Italy and West Germany, is so legendary it's now known as the game of the century. Italy scored early and defended their 1-0 lead with everything they had. It looked like they would hold on, but in the 90th minute, German defender Karl-Heinz Schnellinger scored his first and only goal for the national team to force extra time. What followed was absolute chaos. The next 30 minutes saw an unbelievable 5 goals. Gerd Müller put Germany ahead, but Italy quickly equalized. Gigi Riva then put Italy back in front. Müller, once again, leveled the score. Just as the TV broadcast was showing the replay of Müller's goal, Italian midfielder Gianni Rivera coolly slotted home the winner, making it 4-3 to Italy. It was an epic, exhausting, and unforgettable battle. And so, on June 21, 1970, in front of over 107,000 fans at the magnificent Azteca Stadium, Brazil and Italy faced off in the World Cup final. It was a clash of styles, Brazil's free-flowing Joga Bonito against Italy's rigid, defensive Catenaccio. Both nations had won the World Cup twice before, so the winner would get to keep the Jules Rimet trophy permanently. Brazil opened the scoring with a majestic header from the king himself, Pelé. It was Brazil's 100th World Cup goal. Italy, however, capitalized on a defensive error to equalize through Roberto Boninsegna. The first half ended 1-1. But in the second half, the Brazil of 1970 showed why they are considered by many to be the greatest football team of all time. Gerson unleashed a powerful long-range strike to put them back in front. Then Jairzinho scored, incredibly becoming the first and only player to score in every single match of a World Cup tournament. The final goal, Brazil's fourth, is perhaps the most famous goal in football history. It was a masterpiece of teamwork. A slow, patient build-up involving 8 different players culminated in Pelé calmly laying the ball off to the on-rushing captain, Carlos Alberto, who hammered it into the back of the net. It was the perfect exclamation point on a perfect tournament. Brazil won 4-1. As Carlos Alberto lifted the Jules Rimet trophy, it symbolized the triumph of beautiful attacking football. The 1970 Brazilian team, with legends like Pelé, Jairzinho, Rivellino, Tostão, and Gerson, became immortal. They played with a joy and flair that captured the hearts of millions around the globe. Mexico 1970 was more than just a World Cup. It was a cultural event that brought the world together. Broadcast in stunning color for the first time, it gave us iconic moments, legendary players, and arguably the greatest national team ever assembled. It was a celebration of football at its purest and most brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back to 1970. What are your favorite memories from this World Cup? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do not miss our next deep dive into football history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.